The book, Hierarchy and Freedom, delves into the complex relationship between these two concepts in Western thought, highlighting the shift from a hierarchical worldview to a focus on individual autonomy. Prior to the Enlightenment, Western thought was dominated by the idea of a hierarchical universe stemming from Platonic philosophy. This hierarchy placed God at the top, followed by angels, humans, and other beings in descending order of importance. This idea was widely accepted during the Middle Ages, informing social and political structures. The Enlightenment brought about a significant shift in thinking, challenging the idea of inherent hierarchies. Thinkers like John Locke championed individual self-determination or autonomy, asserting that individuals should have the freedom to define their own values and make choices without being bound by predetermined structures. This shift was accompanied by a change in the understanding of rationality, moving away from a focus on innate ideas towards an emphasis on empirical data and individual experience. The book contrasts two main perspectives on freedom and hierarchy. Number one, the Platonic approach, represented by Plotinus. Plotinus argued that true freedom doesn't lie in unrestrained actions driven by desire or impulse, but in aligning oneself with the higher levels of being, culminating in the 1%, the source of all existence. This alignment is achieved through a process of purification and intellectual contemplation, essentially an ascent through the hierarchy of being, shedding the constraints of bodily desires and aligning with the realm of intellect. Thus, hierarchy, in this view, is not an obstacle to freedom, but a pathway towards it. The individual, by recognizing and striving towards higher levels of being, achieves greater freedom. Number two, the empiricist approach, represented by John Locke. Locke, a key figure of the Enlightenment, believed that all knowledge stems from experience, rejecting the notion of innate ideas. For him, the human mind begins as a blank slate, shaped by sensory experiences. Locke defined freedom as the ability to act according to one's will, primarily guided by the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. However, Locke acknowledged that not all pleasures are equal and advocated for the understanding to guide choices towards achieving the greatest good, which involved considering future happiness. This understanding of freedom, while emphasizing individual choice, can potentially lead to an arbitrary pursuit of desires without a higher moral framework. Without a grounding in objective values, individual choices may lack direction and ultimately hinder true freedom. The book argues that the Enlightenment's rejection of hierarchy, while intended to liberate individuals, has resulted in a world where moral relativism and arbitrary choices dominate. In the absence of objective moral principles, individuals are left to define their own values, potentially leading to conflicts and an inability to distinguish between true and false goods. The state then steps in to enforce a pragmatic order, focusing on protecting individual rights rather than fostering a shared understanding of the good. The book suggests that this shift has, in some ways, made individuals more susceptible to manipulation. Without a strong moral compass rooted in a hierarchical understanding of reality, individuals are easily swayed by external influences like political propaganda, media, and advertising, which shape their desires and choices.